All right, man. So we got Super Bowl Sunday coming up. This is exciting. I gotta Eagles, man. I'm excited about this, man, because it's been look this is Eagles getting here. This was two times in the last 3 years that the Eagles have been in the Super Bowl. The last time we were there, the Chiefs. Man, that last play of the game that really hurt me. That was a dagger because they should have just let people play. Let that game play out. All right, let the game play out. Don't let the game end on a penalty. That don't even make any sense. Anyway, but that's besides the point. We here again, Eagles, and as we know, okay, this game has been building up, building up. I know a lot of people really didn't even want to see the Chiefs and Eagles again, but hey, we got revenge. We coming for Patrick Mahomes. I know we're gonna be playing the refs too, because you always got to play the refs when you play Patrick Mahomes. You got guys hitting each other. And they calling a flag on the guys. Patrick Mahomes didn't even get hit, so now we got to play the refs. We got to play Patrick Mahomes. And look, but we ready, man. We got the defense, number one defense in the league. We got the offensive line. We got AJ Brown. We got Smitty. All right. We got Dallas Goddard. We got Jalen Hurts coming out. And then the secret weapon, which is not a secret anymore, Saquon Barkley. Thank you, New York Giants. Appreciate y'all, man. I got to dap y'all up. I appreciate that because, I mean, y'all really help us out. There's no way. There's no way. I'm telling you, seriously, seriously, my prediction, y'all already know this. You already know what time it is. There's no way the Eagles lose this game. Doc, I already tell leaders before, Doc. I said, look, if the Eagles are leading at halftime, it's a wrap. It's over. It's a done deal if they lead at halftime. And don't have like a two-score lead or something like that. There's no coming back because what we're gonna do in that second half, we are going to run the ball and we're gonna wear you down. That offensive line gonna be all over them dudes, and it's going to be over. Saquon Barkley obviously is going to break a big one. Something else I really want to talk about real quick. We know the Eagles are going to win this game. It's a done deal. But a lot of people have been saying that the Eagles and Saquon Barkley, that the Kansas City Chiefs have not allowed a 100-yard rusher all season. Right? This is this. I can't get with that because guess what? You have not faced this offensive line where we're going to put hands on body and those holes just going to open up. Saquon is going to break them. Look, I'm going to be on, man, look, I'm going to be on another level. When you see Saquon bust through that line, it's going to be over, man. So, look, fellas, this all I got to say. Eagles, this is my prediction. This is my score prediction now. Eagles, 37. Kansas City Chiefs, 31. 37-31. Eagles, we take it. It may not even be that close, but I'm just giving them some extra. If we up by a touchdown or two halftime, guys, enjoy Kendrick Lamar, but it's gonna be over. It's gonna be over. Lee, what you got to say, man? We know this Eagles all day.
That was hard to listen to. That was very hard to, and my ears are hurting.
Stop that, man. Stop that.
Yeah. I know you to be a practical guy, but I know with your Eagles, all that goes out the window.
Come
And
on.
you just proved that with that, whatever that was, that rant. I was going to call it a preamp. I don't know what to call that, but you said a couple of things that are just flat out incorrect,
Okay,
right?
let me hear this.
You said, I understand you think, your Eagles are front runners, right? You give them a lead, they're going to win. But you playing that man across on the other side of the field, Patrick Mahomes, right? No lead is safe when Patrick Mahomes is on the field. When he's in the game, no lead is safe. He's proven that time and time again, right? How many Super out of I mean the past few Super Bowls, he's done what? He's come back and he did what? He won the game. So I don't care how far out ahead you guys get. Don't feel comfortable. Based on what you said, if y'all have to lead by halftime, the game over. right? Take gap, take your foot off the pedal, you coasting,
No,
right?
no,
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 that's
no.
what you're saying. It's not. It's a done deal.
We can't take it off the pedal. Go ahead.
Seriously. Kansas City is, they're test proven, right? Proof positive. They won the last two Super Bowls. They're on the way for a three-peat. They won three out of the last four, right? If that's correct. Is that correct? Is it three out of the last four, right? Three out of the
Yeah,
last
3 out of
four,
the last
right?
4. Yeah, back to back.
So they, I mean, it's hard to pick against them. All emotions and jokes aside, right? It's very hard to pick against Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, and that defense with Spagnuolo leading them. The Eagles are going to have a mountain of a test in front of them. All of the things you said about the personnel on the Eagle side is correct. They are loaded, right? Howie Roseman, he's done a phenomenal job as a GM. He has stacked that team together with elite talent on both sides, offense and defense. And the catalyst, of course, being Saquon Barkley, he can explode at any time. There's another stat, I think, that since Patrick Mahomes, I guess, has been leading them into the playoffs, the Chiefs has not allowed a 100-yard rusher. So it's not even just this season, but a 100-yard rusher in the playoffs. Sorry, let me make that distinction.
Gotcha.
In the playoffs, they have not allowed a 100-yard rusher over the past, I think, the last 4 seasons or something like that. So with that being said, do I think they're going to hold Saquon Barkley under 100 yards? No. I bet against Saquon Barkley all these playoffs, and he's burned me every single time. I'm not going to do that again. I'm at a crossroads here because you have two truths. One, Saquon Barkley is downright unstoppable. On the other hand, Patrick Mahomes, all he does is win. Right? Which one of those are going to come up on top? I think it's going to be the other intangibles that supports those two players, particularly with the coaching staff. And I believe more in the Chiefs coaching staff over the Eagles coaching staff to prepare them and get them the necessary strategy and in terms of what they need to execute in order to win this game against their opponent. Spagnuolo, he's been consistently there over the past couple of seasons. Therefore, he's developed a sort of a, he's ingrained, entrenched in that organization. He understands the personnel. He knows how to utilize those guys. He's a defensive mastermind. He's a great counter to Andy Reid on the offensive side. And I think he's definitely going to dial up a few plays that's going to disrupt the Eagles. Yeah, they're not going to stop Saquon for the whole game. Saquon will have his explosive plays. He's going to break a few, but you made a prediction in terms of the 37-31.
37-31.
My prediction is whatever the Eagles score, Chiefs are going to score more.
How much more though?
They just enough to win. Just enough to win.
Okay.
That's what they do. Whether they got to kick it into overtime,
Yeah.
right? The way that they play, that I've noticed with the Chiefs, is not that they play down to the level of their opponent, but they play in a way where they do just enough to win and beat that opponent.
I got you. I
I
got
don't
you.
recall them with a whole lot of blowout victories this season,
Right. Right.
right? They had a
Yeah.
lot of close games. And at one point, people were starting to think, oh, they're just lucky, they're just lucky, they're just lucky. But at some point, you got to realize that's not luck. They
Right.
know
Yeah.
what they're doing. They game plan accordingly. They understand the strengths and weaknesses of their opponent, and then they execute that game plan against that opponent to beat them. So they've shown that that's their recipe for success. That's what they do, and that's what I expect them to do in the Super Bowl against the Eagles.
Okay. All right. All right. Fair take. Doc, what you got to say about this one?
I have been conflicted on this. First off, as a Vikings fan, I'm mad at Casey from Super Bowl IV with Hank Stram matriculating the ball down the field.
Going way back.
And for you Eagles, we were supposed to do what the Rams did, winning the Super Bowl at home, but y'all gonna jack this up after the Minneapolis Miracle. Congratulations, but I'm still salty. So, okay, that's out the way, right? When you look at this on paper, at just about every position, the Eagles got Kansas City, except tight end, except quarterback, and except head coach. But receivers, line, D line, defense, yeah, right? So everything says that the Eagles should win this game, but it's Kansas City, right? It's just one of those, you don't know how they do it. It's like a horror flick where like you think they dead and they rise up and they still around and they just keep on hanging around, right? And to the point, like Herman Edwards said, you play to win the game, and they don't blow nobody out. They just do just enough to win. Um, Eagles got the ball. KC's going to try to limit Saquon. They're probably going to do a bit more zone blitz than usual, keeping eyes in the backfield, run blitz early, trying to keep you guys third and long so you guys can't tush push and move the chains. It's not going to be dependent on Jalen Hurts, but he's going to have to make a few plays down the sideline when they do go man early, or 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, Spagnuolo drums up something just to make them pay AJ Brown and Devontae, right? So if he got a few of those throws in him, things going to be looking good. It's hard to figure out how the heck to stop Kansas City because it's not like they got a whole bunch of weapons on offense. It's just the tight end, the quarterback, right? Do you double Jason Kelsey and take your chance with Xavier Worthy going down streaking without a safety support? How do the running game is enough to keep you honest, but it's not like you're really worried about the running game. This is the tough ones. I figure what's gonna happen is Eagles are gonna be up by like 2 points. Casey's coming down, doing what Mahomes does, moving the chains, running, hitting Kelsey. That's Kelsey wheeled route after he catch the ball where somehow they just chasing him like he's a Harlem Globetrotter. And it's going to be a critical play. You guys are going to come with some unusual defensive blitz. It's going to phase out and everyone's going to be shocked. I think there's going to be a turnover. I think there's going to be either an int or a sack fumble. And I am going to call Philadelphia 27, Kansas City 25. I think this is going to be the first time that we can remember Mahomes not coming through in the clutch. And it's just one game too late for them. But yeah, that's where I'm going with it. So
That's an interesting scenario that you
Yeah.
you drew out there for that particular critical play. And what's so interesting is we've seen that time and time again, not explicitly like that, but something very similar with Kansas City, and the refs always bail them out, right?
True.
So I
Yeah.
think exactly what Doc said is probably going to happen at a
Right.
critical moment in the game.
Yeah.
Lynx, you can be there partying. Group, yep, you all got it.
Right.
Then you can look back at the screen, you can see a yellow flag.
Flag.
Yep.
Flag.
Yep.
Yeah.
Quarterback got hit in the head,
Yeah.
holding down the field, something
Yeah.
unsportsmanlike, right?
Something. Yeah.
Right? And all you can hear is penalty against the Eagles,
first down.
first down.
And look out.
Right? So and the thing, so here's the thing, man. You bring proof to power, right? So truth to power. Because you said it, Lynx. You said it. You're expecting the Eagles to go against the refs.
Absolutely.
Right? That's what's gonna happen. I don't like it. Now here's the thing. I'm not a Chiefs fan. We all know that.
Right.
I don't like the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I don't have an affinity towards them, but I'm just caught looking at it with clear eyes. What I've seen all season, the past couple of seasons, they always get bailed out. Now, I'm not insinuating that there's some sort of conspiracy or cheating scheme that's going on.
Right. Yeah.
What I think, and it's kind of hard for me to explain it, but I feel like some way, somehow, the Chiefs put themselves in position to force the refs to have to make those calls. What does that mean? you look at the way that Mahomes he has really, really good body control,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's not out the realm of possibility. We all, we see it in basketball where they flop. And I feel Mahomes is talented enough to know how to get the ball out, see a defender, put himself in a position where it looks as if he's getting hit in the head.
Mm-hmm.
He's done it.
Yeah. Yeah. I've
Right?
seen him do it. Yeah.
To draw the play, to draw the call. And I think you also have a D-Hop, wide
Mm-hmm.
receiver.
Yeah.
He's an excellent route runner, and it's not out of the realm of possibility from my eyes to think that the coaching staff from the receiver's perspective are coaching them up on how to draw those holding penalties down the field.
Mm. Yeah.
When you think about it now, if it's a down and distance, critical play, Holmes know refs are going to be looking, be more attentive. I just need to get the ball up.
Right. Right.
Right? Do a
Right.
flop.
Right.
Make it
Right.
seem
Right.
as if he's holding your arm.
Yeah.
Do something. Get the call.
Yeah.
Get the flag.
Yeah.
Extend the play. I guarantee you they're talking. This is what they do. This is how they coach up their players. And that's why I feel they get these calls so consistently. And to Doc's point, and even to your point, I think at some point during this game,
Yeah.
it's going to happen. And it's going to be a pivotal moment that's going to swing the pendulum towards the favor of Kansas City.
Yeah. Yeah. I do expect something to happen. I'm not going to be shocked. I don't want this to be at the end of the game. I know there's going to be something. There's going to be a call that's going to be a critical call. I know that for sure. 100%. I could say that. But to Doc's point, when he said Kansas City's going to be driving down, this reminded me of 2018 when the Eagles won the Super Bowl and Tom Brady is driving down and Brandon Graham, if I look on NFL films, and Brandon Graham tells the coach, look, he's playing me inside. If I go on the outside and get a step on him, I can get to Brady. Because I've been playing him inside the whole game. So I know if I fake him inside and go out, I could get around him. And to Doc's point, it's going to come down to something like that. I agree. Because I think what's going to happen is going to be a critical, and Brandon Graham is back. He's in this game.
Go
So
blue.
he's back from injury.
Go blue.
Right? Yes,
Yep.
yes. So I think it's going to be something like that. Yes, I expect the refs to make a call. I'm expecting it 100%. But I also expect that the Eagles are going to, and look, man, my hands gonna be sweating. Everything's it's gonna be going, right? But I do expect the Eagles to make a critical defensive play that is going to win the Eagles a game. I agree with you on that, Doc, for sure.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, man. Yeah, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. Yeah. So Lee,
Mhm.
go ahead. Doc, you was gonna say something?
No, man. It when you take a look at what Kansas City's been doing, right? It is very similar to what the Patriots did, but like in reverse, right? When the Patriots started, they were defense and running the ball, and then as their dynasty continued, it became very kind of offensive minded, right? Casey's like the reverse. Now Casey start off offensive firepower, defense just don't give no big ones. And now they're very much playing team ball where there's the defense and the offense and the special teams, and they somehow do just enough to win. Right. And so they ain't blowing nobody out. It's just these close games, managing the clock, situational football. And so it's going to take the Eagles defense with all that talent y'all got across the three different lines, right? The three different levels, someone making a play, because it's not going to be, you're not going to fool Patrick Mahomes and dupe him into making a silly throw. So someone's going to kind of put pressure on him, make him throw off the back foot, some exceptional dive in tip and then tip drill. And so, yeah, someone's going to make a play somehow, some way. But it's going to be really great drama the last 2-3 minutes of the game, because that's just what Casey do. And is what has what Howie Roseman done in getting talent upon talent upon talent year after year, finally going to cash through for you guys. Well, yeah. So
Yeah, I think if when you talk about the Eagles defense and their ability to manufacture turnovers, if it does happen to that degree where it becomes like this point where they can use that consistently to win this game, I think it's going to be with their ability to punch the ball out. Right? They've done the way that
Yep.
they did it with the Commanders,
Yeah.
the way they did it with the Rams.
Yeah.
Right? They've been coached up by Sirianni to get that at the right time too, because I know I watched them when that runner is in an awkward position or when they are right about to engage and that runner is that microsecond of just being relaxed, they punch the ball out. So I don't think it's necessarily going to be Patrick Mahomes throwing interceptions. I think it's going to be a receiver or a running back giving the ball up, right? So that's definitely something for the Chiefs to worry about because Eagles are really good at doing that, right? But we'll see. Because like I said, Mahomes he's shown that he can overcome a lot. And if you keep him in it, come that fourth quarter,
Yeah.
5 minutes left,
Yeah.
if there's a window of opportunity for him to win, he's going to win.
Yeah. 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 Dangerous. Yeah, man. Yeah, Lee. So this is definitely going to be a good one, man. We be tuned in. So, Lee, I know you wanted to
Wait.
jump in.
So just to recap,
Yeah,
we got, of course, Lincoln picking the Eagles,
absolutely.
right? I got the Chiefs winning, and they're going to win by a hair. It's not like like it's going to be consistent to their wins this season. And Doc, you got the Eagles.
I got the Eagles winning by a hair because Kansas City was going to be doing what they usually do, but they won't get pay dirt this time around.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. All right. So
You and I are
square
close
there.
on it. It's just whether he comes through or doesn't come through. And I think this time he won't come through. It may be a punch out after reception, but I think Casey falls short at the end of
This
the game
time.
this time around.
Lady Luck is going to run out this time.
Yes.
She out.
Okay. I think she got one more in her, but we'll see.
We'll see. That's why you play
She might be back next year, but she done this year.
Yeah. You know Lady Luck name, right?
Who's Lady Luck name?
Taylor Swift.
Oh, I knew. Yeah,
That's
I
Lady's
knew.
like that's the name.
Look
Right.
here,
That's the
look here,
name.
man. Look here.
That's the name.
Hey, look here, man. If they pan this thing to Taylor Swift one more time, I mean, this is just ridiculous, man. You know, Travis Kelce. I don't mean to bring this up, but you bring up a good point here. Taylor Swift, right? I am tired of Taylor Swift. You know, Taylor Swift is an Eagle. She was an Eagles fan. Die-hard Eagles fan. Philadelphia die-hard in her concerts wearing Eagles garb all down. Now you go dating Travis Kelce and you wearing red lipstick and all this stuff, and they keep panning up there. Get off my screen, man. I don't want to see Taylor Swift anymore. Taylor Swift she's officially been X'd out of the Eagles band of the Eagles. I mean, just our whole aura. Right now, we don't want to hear from Taylor Swift. We don't want to hear not one song. I don't even know what Taylor Swift's singing. I don't even know none of her songs, and don't care.
Wait. He editing this out of the podcast. I don't think you understand how powerful the Swifties are. Swifties. I don't agree with him.
Yep.
I like Taylor Swift. I like Taylor Swift. Boy, what you trying to do?
Man,
No, we don't need that kind of retribution.
don't worry about them, man.
We don't want that.
Don't worry about them, man.
Taylor Swift is her own economy, you know. Did you know that?
I know whatever she do, she bring all this, you know.
No, don't say like, oh, no. She literally lifts the economy of the city that she has her concerts in. She brings hundreds of millions of dollars
I got it.
wherever she goes when she has a concert. So again,
I got it.
I don't subscribe to what my counterpart said. I got nothing against Taylor Swift. Wearing your red. Keep wearing your red.
Thanks to Taylor Swift than anything I said so far.
I don't need that kind of retribution in my life.
All right. So Lee, I know you had some questions. You know, you want to ask. around the NFC, man.
Yeah, man. So let me do we didn't really do a proper introduction, right? So as everybody knows, we got a third person on the panel. We got Doc here, and Doc has been brought in to be an impartial participant, right? Particularly for this segment because
Impartial.
we know Lynx is an Eagles fan, and I'm not going to pick the Eagles.
Yeah, yeah.
So we wanted this third person, counterpart in here to be able to bring some sort of levity to the discussion. But Doc is as you can see, he's a Vikings fan, right? Right, Skull. So for the second part of the segment, I wanted to bring up some NFC North questions.
Oh, hold on, Lee. One quick second before you get into that. Doc, I got a question for you real quick. Okay,
Come on.
school me on that. I mean, school me on the school. Like I'm not understanding. Like fly, eagle, fly. I understand, but school, I don't understand.
Before you start, Doc, I'm gonna let you go.
Yeah.
But Skull has more significance to the Vikings than Fly Eagles Fly to the Eagles. Go ahead, Doc.
Okay, let me.
So Skull is sort of like the Viking version of Cheers. So you got your meat, you got your beer, you just finished conquesting wherever Skull, right? Now, I mean, can't believe we do that at the game, but the clap and the cheer kind of just started building, and so they kind of do that cheer more and more and more, and it just builds up in the crescendo. So, but
Let
Skull
me
is actually a friendly cheers to your neighbor kind of vibe, right?
and,
Okay.
and I'm gonna tell you this, Lynx. Ain't
Yeah.
nothing friendly about it. There's nothing friendly about. So a couple of years ago, Doc and I we went to a Vikings game,
Yeah.
right when they opened up the new stadium,
Oh yeah,
Opening
yeah,
game
yeah.
against
and right against the Packers. Was it a Thursday night or Sunday night? It was a Sunday night game, right? And I didn't understand the custom. I didn't know. I knew nothing about it. I'm
Right.
just there supporting Doc. We go to the game, and as we're walking in, they're starting the chant because
Mm.
they start this chant before the game starts.
So okay,
And
yeah.
so you have how many people packed that
never
stadium? Was it like
yeah,
60,000, 50,000, 60,000, something like
50,000.
that? All in unison, clapping,
Skull,
goal. And
Skull.
like when you talk about electricity, when you talk about energy, like I'm walking in there and as soon as I felt it,
Right.
it is awesome.
Wow,
Yeah, it's
man.
it's something to behold.
Okay. Yeah, I just have to ask that question because
Yeah, man.
I would
Yeah.
always be listening and I'm like, what is going on? And you're right with the crescendo at the end and then they getting louder. So okay, yeah.
Good
Thank
stuff.
you. Appreciate that.
So NFC North, right? I have one specific question for each team. I'll leave the Vikings for last, and we'll all give our take on it. But I'll start with
I
Doc.
might think so. I might think
Okay.
so.
Okay. So I'll start with the Bears. Okay. There was a report today. The Bears running back Josh Jacobs. He was on a podcast, and they were asking him basically like what are some of the missing pieces that are needed for the Packers. And one of the things that he brought up, he said he feels as if the Packers need a veteran wide receiver. Like we all know they have some young horses, right? They got some really talented young receivers, but he felt like there's a veteran presence that's needed to help take that passing game over the top because it kind of waned at the end of the season, right? They started to they lost a lot of momentum.
Yeah.
So as he was doing that, as he was talking about it, I started to think, I wanted to ask Doc, one, do you think that is something the Packers would need? And then two, if that is the case, how do you think T. Higgins would be someone that could come in there and give them that boost that Josh Jacobs is talking about? As a Vikings fan,
No,
I
no.
want you to talk.
I just want to know this entire section has me conflicted because you're almost like wanting me to like advocate for my adversaries, right? So anyway,
I just want you to be a pragmatic analyst.
I'm trying, but like the hairs are standing up on my skin, like, right? Like I gotta talk about what will make the Packers actually. So I think having a relatively young quarterback and a relatively young receiving core it'd be great to have veteran leadership at the skill positions. And since you can't really get it at the quarterback because only one quarterback plays, the receivers make sense. Now, I think T. Higgins is a really, really good wide receiver, like low level wide receiver one, super high level wide receiver two. But I don't think that's the veteran leadership that the Packers would benefit from, right? I think there's a guy with the Jets that, depending on what goes on with the Jets, like Devontae Adams, like someone like that coming through and teaching that young core how to be wide receivers, how to be professionals, the nuances of setting up, on the branch and how to come back to the quarterback, like those little things and then also how to keep yourself in shape so you're not depleted come into the playoffs. So someone like that, I think, would be more beneficial to the Packers. But yeah, I think knowing they have the young wide receivers and the young quarterback, and they were doing well, and all of a sudden it kind of peters out towards the end of the season, having someone like that is hungry, but also teach these guys how to do what they need to do when they need to do it would help them out.
So bringing Devontae Adams back home.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep.
What about you, Link?
I mean, I'm kind of leaning with Doc on this one because when you look at Green Bay, we played them the first game of the season in Brazil, and they have a really, like you said, a young core quarterback, and a core of receivers, really really young guys, and I do think I don't know if realistically, if Devontae Adams, I mean, we're just hypothesizing here. He could go, yeah, he could go back, that kind of thing. But I'm looking at, if there was a more possession type receiver, for Green Bay, and I'm thinking of a specific.
Suck. I don't like you. I don't like you right now. I was wondering if you were going to bring this up.
Yeah, yeah.
Where's he
I
gonna go there?
know, I know the Rams have a receiver that is potentially going to be on the market, right? And that said receiver, I think, would be a great fit in Green Bay because he does have the experience, right? He does have the experience. He's a veteran. He's a leader. He knows how to get open. He knows, and when you got a young quarterback that you have a receiver that can really get into spaces and get open, possession receiver. I mean, I think that's just going to open up their offense, and that would really, that would be exciting to see. That combination could. I mean, that's just my opinion, but I think having a possession receiver would be ideal for Green Bay.
So, unfortunately, I concur.
I didn't call the name. I didn't call the name.
I'll bring it on, right?
Yeah,
Who's the Green Bay Packers head coach? Matt LaFleur.
Matt LaFleur. Okay, yeah, Matt.
Where did he come from? He came from the Rams, right?
From the
Sean
Rams.
McVay. Him and Sean McVay, they grew up under the Mike Shanahan offense, right? They have the same philosophy. So to your point, I know you didn't want to call the name. I appreciate that, but yeah, Cooper Cup is on the market. That's the report that's out there that the Rams are looking to trade him, and the report says quickly. For the life of me, I don't understand why. Because Cooper Cup, he's made it known that he doesn't want to leave. He wants to stay. He wants to continue to play, but he wants to continue to play in LA with the Rams. But for whatever reason, the Rams are looking to shop him. I don't know why they don't just do an adjustment on his contract. I don't know. But if that's the case, I wouldn't be surprised. It's not out of the realm of of possibility that the Green Bay Packers might say, hey, take a 5th round pick, 4th round pick, and they'll, Cooper Cup. Cooper Cup would be a really good addition to that offense. He could teach those guys how to play position the right way. It's the same philosophy. He could plug and play and go. So yeah, you're right. You're right. I'd hate to see it, but
yeah,
yeah,
it makes sense though.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. It
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense. Devontae Adams makes sense too because I mean he knows the offense as well before he
going back home. Yeah.
Next question, the Bears. So we all know they got a new head coach, Ben Johnson. Just curious, I really want to hear Doc's take on that acquisition with that coach, pairing him with Caleb Williams, who by and large had a really productive season as a rookie quarterback with all the distractions and horrible coaching that was going on. He had a really good showing as a rookie. So now coming with Ben Johnson, who seems to be a more competent, offensive-minded coach, be able to give him some structure and to actually draw up some plays that's going to produce some proof positive, net positive yards on a consistent basis. What's your take on that pairing? Do you think that's going to, relate to success for the Bears?
So I think when you've got someone like Ben Johnson, what he did in Detroit, where they had a high scoring but physical offense, right? It's running the ball, play action, maximizing what Jared Goff could do, right? And you're like, man, if you could plug and play Caleb Williams in that Detroit offense, like, oh, sky's the limit. So this got to work for the Bears, right? Not so fast, my friend. It's the Chicago Bears. And so you have to, based on what we know about Ben Johnson, and this is assuming he's as good of a head coach as he is as an offensive coordinator, which we don't, but assuming that is for argument's sake, right? You're now having this offense that is supposed to be taking pressure off of Caleb Williams, running the ball, play action, not being dependent on Caleb Williams, right? That way you maximize success by having your playmaker make a play 5 times out the game versus 20 times out the game. But I think there are some GMs, some presidents, and some owners that don't understand that, right? Why am I going to pay this guy a whole bunch of money down the road? I know he's still on the rookie contract, but he's the superstar, so we need to highlight the superstar and not build a team as if he's not a superstar. And so if it were some other organizations, I'd be sweating a little bit more. But I think there's just enough dysfunction in that Bears organization that trying to align Ben Johnson, Poles, Caleb Williams, team president Warren, and the McCluskey, the owner, yeah, they're gonna find some way to go left when they should go right. They're gonna draft a safety when there should be an offensive lineman. They're gonna release someone early, sign someone too late. So yeah. I mean, we thought this season was going to be at least 9-8, 10-7, and it was what it was. So that's what I think. I think on paper it should work because you have a guy, if he's allowed to build what he needs to build, and then you have what many would consider an upgraded quarterback compared to what he had in Detroit. But there's a lot more alignment that I saw in Detroit between ownership, GM, and head coach than what I'm expecting to see even now with the Chicago Bears organization.
That's interesting.
Anything, Links?
Yeah. What I got to say, just my 2 cents on this. I think that first of all, Chicago, when they thinking about, again, Caleb Williams, the coaching was horrible. Okay,
It was putrid.
It was disgusting. It is not much that you could really do there, right? I mean, you can't blame this guy. You can't blame Caleb, right? I mean, it is what it is. But for Chicago to really compete in this division, you got the Vikings, you got Detroit. These guys, going to the playoffs consistently, right? I mean, they need an offensive line.
Right.
They need a line. They need to draft guards, centers, and right tackle, left tackle. They need to draft everybody. That need to be like their first 5 draft picks, like the whole line. I mean, they just need. You got to protect the guy. You got to protect your investment.
Yeah.
And if they don't have anybody to protect Caleb Williams, and then again, okay, with Ben Johnson coming in, I do agree. He's a great coach. But again, it don't matter how great he is, and that remains to be seen as a head coach, like you said, Doc. But if you don't fix the line, man, ain't nothing happening. I mean, that's just a waste of time, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, you hit the nail on the head. I think Caleb Williams got sacked 68 times.
Ridiculous.
8. times, right? And what Doc was saying about the health of the organization itself, it's poor at best. Links, we talked about this a couple of podcasts ago about what constitutes consistent success for these teams. It starts from the top. And the Bears, their owner slash and the president, they're not top notch. They're average at best, probably below average. And then you have this GM Ryan Poles, who I think he's doing his best, right? But this is the same regime that has let go Robert Quinn, Khalil Mack, and Roquan Smith all within weeks of each other in the same season because they want to save a few dollars, right? So I don't trust them on the long term to consistently make the right decisions. All of this is just makeup, right? They're trying to make it look pretty, make it look beautiful, bring in the whiz kid coach who can create a whole bunch of explosive, dazzling offensive plays. You got this fantastic quarterback who can razzle dazzle, but that's not going to constitute long-term success. They need, as you said, they need to strengthen that line. They need to support him with a strong running game and a strong defense. And they need to ask him not to play hero ball 25% of the time. He needs to dial that down to maybe 5% only when needed and play within the structure of the offense or of the game plan. Throw on rhythm, right? Use your play action. Only when it's needed, then you can go off platform and do your Michael Jordan thing. But for the most part, they're asking him to do that more often than he should. We'll see what Ben does. Ben may say, you know what, let's dial it down. But the one thing too about all of this is Caleb Williams himself. I don't know if he's disciplined enough to rein it in. He's been doing this since his days in Oklahoma, going to USC. He's all about the flash. He's a very flashy player, and it works for him because he's that talented. But now, is he disciplined enough to dial that back, play within the offense, throw on rhythm, trust his reads, get the ball to the spot, right? And then let the play itself instead of him making the play.
Right.
We'll see. I don't know. That's a big unknown for me. And because in all my comments about Goff fit that offense because Goff has no choice but to play within this construct of the scheme.
Right.
But he does it very well. Goff's problem was when that scheme breaks down, he can't do nothing outside of it. So we'll see what Caleb does.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what he does. All right.
You think Caleb going keep quiet that invisible juice? Or...
Man. Mass production. Mass production. Call him Willie Beeman.
Call him Willie Beeman, right?
Call him Willie Beeman.
Gone, right? Yeah, we gonna see.
Okay. So, we got two more. We're gonna go to Detroit. So now we all know in the NFL, success is a double-edged sword, right?
Yeah.
With success, make it, you have a shot making it to the Super Bowl, get all these accolades that come your way. And then on the other side is you start losing coaches. You start losing. It's like success builds attrition, right? So now with Detroit, they lost their offensive coordinator. They lost their passing coordinator coach. They lost their defensive coordinator.
Yep.
Okay. What do you think, Doc? How do you think that's going to affect them going into next season?
I think it has to affect them. I mean, they went 15-2, right? Like it's gonna affect them. Fortunately, I don't think it's gonna affect them much. 13-4, 12-5 at the worst. Because I think from the we've had conversations about like the alignment, right? And you still have Dan Campbell as a head coach. You still got the GM. You still got ownership that's just out of the way and letting them do what they got to do. So Levant knows this very well with the Rams, where your coordinators may hang around like 2 seasons and then they go someplace else, but the Rams are consistently vying for the playoffs and further because the ownership, the head coach, and the GM are in alignment, right? And so I think we get to see how much of the success of Detroit is the GM and the head coach versus how much Ben Johnson and
Exactly.
how critical they were to the success. But you still got those talented players there. You still got the aggressive head coach. And so whether they're going to elevate from within or bring someone else from the outside is going to be interesting. My guess is they may try to elevate from within rather than bringing in someone else, unless that person's really kind of keen and very much philosophically tied into what was done before and what the head coach wants, right? Because you don't want that malalignment because all of a sudden that throws things off. So yeah, I think it's hard to expect them to go 15-2 again, but they're gonna make the playoffs short of catastrophic injuries. And they had a whole bunch of them on defense last year, and they still went 15-2. Yeah. Unfortunately for the rest of the NFC North, I don't think it's going to be much of a drop off.
Mhm. Okay. Well, look, I go back to my team, Philadelphia Eagles. We've been there before, right? Going to the Super Bowl, offensive coordinator, gone. Defensive coordinator, gone. And let me tell you, that was a struggle, man. That was a struggle. We all know Nick Sirianni, he got the X's and O's. He knows the X's and O's. That's the X factor, right? Because he's one of those guys that he's heavily involved in the X's and O's. Nick Sirianni was not involved in the X's and O's. It was the offensive coordinator doing their job, defensive coordinator doing their job. And when Nick tried to call the plays, it was a colossal fail. All right. Because after the first couple weeks in the season when everybody was like, oh, Eagles was 10-1 or whatever it was. And then after it was the blueprint game, I call it, with the 49ers, and they figured out this stale offense that was being called, just vertical routes, no crossing routes, no nothing going on, nothing fancy. It was just a colossal fail, and they couldn't recover from that. With Detroit, like you said, they got the alignment there, and the X factor can be and will be, I think, Dan Campbell as the head coach. And if they do elevate from within, it'll probably be best because they have that cohesiveness already, in-house, and everybody knows where they're going to be. And if they did do a good job, this is also a point. If they did a good job coaching, the successors of these guys to really take over and take that next step, if those guys were paying attention, then yeah, I definitely could see them. They will be in the playoffs again. I agree with you, Doc. They're probably not going to be 15-2, but they will be there. They'll be competing again. But again, I think it's Dan Campbell, and if they really coach the under coaches to take over those next position.
Yeah, I think you made some good points. Going to the Rams lose coaches every year, right? I'm looking at some notes here. In 2021, we lost 10 coaches. But no, sorry, we lost 9 and 1 executive, right? Last year, we lost 6. Defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator. Like, we always losing guys. But what I've noticed with McVay is he promotes from within. The Lions indicated that that's what they were going to do as well. My only concern for the Lions, it starts and stops with Goff. That offense that Ben Johnson was running was tailor-made for him. I don't think he's going to run the same offense with the Bears, now that I think about it. But Goff is a very specific type of quarterback where he has one of the most talented arms you've probably ever seen, but he's a statue in the backfield. Therefore, Ben Johnson, as offensive coordinator, he devised schemes to help limit, right, those deficiencies for Goff, using the run game, using complex blocking schemes, play action. And he did it at the right time. He understood tempo. He understood what the defenses were doing. And he always put Goff in a position to be successful, which is what McVay tried to do too, until McVay just got fed up with it. McVay's like, I can't do this no more.
Yeah.
I need you to think for yourself. I don't know if they're going to find another offensive coordinator that is as competent as Ben was. If they do, God bless them, then they struck gold again. But my concern for them is that, yes, promote from within, or try to keep that level of consistency, but will they be able to navigate the offense the way Ben Johnson did to help Goff be as successful as he was? I don't think so. I think it's going to be a little bit more of a significant drop. They'll probably still, be a wild card team getting to the playoffs, but I don't think they're going to be one. And we all agree with this. They're not going to be nearly as dominant as they was last season. But I think it's going to be a little bit more of a drop than just. I think it's going to be more like 11 wins, probably 10 wins, something like that. They're going to probably eke into the playoffs. I think they're going to have to figure it out. They're going to find themselves in a position where they're trying to figure out this offense again. The defense, I think the defense is going to be fine. Yeah. Okay.
Lee, one point, Lee,
Yeah.
on Jared Goff. You do know that he did win MVP of the Pro Bowl, right? Hey, I'm just saying. I'm just saying that. I'm just leave that right there. I'm just leave that there.
That's a good point. When you pull in flags and
Oh,
you got one person rushing after you, yeah, he did a heck of a job. He did a heck of a job. That might be his element.
hey,
That might be
Well,
his element.
it's in a couple of years. Don't sleep on it.
No, I'm not poo-pooing on flag football. I wish it was around when we were younger. I wish it was more, prominent back then, but yeah, he may need to go that route.
I'm saying
man,
the man could end up
Olympic
going down.
quarterback,
That's all I'm saying.
Olympics quarterback.
Right? Olympic champion.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. All right. We're coming up against the clock. I saved the best one for last, right? You're a Vikings fan, so this last one, of course, is a Vikings question. Your boy JJ McCarthy was on the Rich Eisen show
Okay.
today, and they was asking him about his future and what does he see and how does he think the next season is gonna play out. Vikings, of course, you have Sam Darnold, whose contract is going to expire sometime in this offseason. Vikings have a decision to make whether or not they want to bring him back in or not. JJ McCarthy is saying that all he's asking for is an equal opportunity to compete and win and possibly win the starting position. He wants a fair competition to be able to do that. My question to you, Doc, as a Vikings fan,
Yes.
you don't have to be pragmatic with this one, right?
Okay.
Who do you want under center for the Vikings next season,
JJ McCarthy.
and why?
I got to set the stage. As a Vikings fan, it's never ended well for us. Both of y'all got at least a ring. It's never ended well for the Vikings. So this whole season I've been like, hey, temper expectations. Week 17, Sam Darnold regressed. And it was like, oh boy. And so going into the playoffs, playing the Rams is like, yeah, I got a bad feeling about this. We're going to lose to the same two teams twice and be out the playoffs one and done. So there is the chance that Sam Darnold, now going to be somewhere between 30 to 40 to $50 million a year, could get better and become more dependable in those pressure games.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to wait until January 2026 to figure that out. With the whole time, all the regular season not really mattering because, okay, he does it because we got to wait until the playoffs to see what he does next time. I don't know. I don't want to go through all that just to get to the playoffs to see if he's better. When there's a young guy who was doing well in preseason, albeit preseason, who was doing well in preseason, and it's like, hey, at this point in time, we got potentially 3 years of that guy on the cheap as we're paying JJ, just the other JJ, Justin Jefferson, what he's let's make that run now. I don't know. I would rather take that chance with JJ McCarthy than hope we're going to improve with Sam Darnold come playoff time next year. So that's my viewpoint on it. So
Yeah. On this one, Sam Darnold equals Jared Goff. It's not gonna happen. Sam Darnold, Vikings, don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. Don't do this a Carson Wentz scenario all over again. Don't do it. Move on. JJ McCarthy is there. He's your future right now. Roll with him because That's just. I agree with you, Doc. You just don't need to waste time, man. As a fan, and I feel your pain. I feel the pain, right? I don't want to go through a whole season again, and then playoff time come and we won and done. I don't want that. As a fan, I feel you. I know where y'all been, right? I feel it. So yeah, I agree with you on that, Doc. Sam Donald, hey, you did well, but you was exposed. The truth came out. It is what it is. You one of those guys. You just not a baller, right? You a regular season player. You not a power pressure cooker playoff type player. That's just what it is. That's what it is. Go with
Right.
JJ McCarthy is the guy. That's it, man. Just go with it. That's it.
I like that one. A regular season player. That's
Yep.
that's a good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
No, I agree with both of you. I think Sam Darnold, the ceiling is it's lower. JJ seems to have a much higher ceiling. We don't know though. So what if the Vikings can somehow retain Darnold, but have them both compete,
Hmm.
that would be the perfect situation. That's highly unlikely. That's not going to happen. Right. So if we're operating under the realm of reality, like what's probably most likely going to happen, either you keep him and force him to like have to force your hand to play him into the season and continue to keep JJ on the back burner. Look, I'm going to take a step back. I'm pretty sure the Vikings, they know what they have in JJ, or they know what they don't have. I feel if JJ still needs time to develop, then you have to bring Sam Darnold back, right? I'm going back here. Steve McNair. I think Steve McNair was on. He sat for 2 years before he started. He ended up with a Hall of Fame career. Not every situation is the same. You can't start. You can't. It's not a cookie cutter scenario with these quarterbacks. You have to groom them based off of their abilities or inability and identify what needs to be increased, what needs to be developed, and when you as an organization feel like they're actually ready to step out there. If they feel that he's ready to step out there, then you got to get rid of Sam Darnold. You got to let him walk, let him go. Even if you feel that there's gonna be some bumps along the road, but he can take those bumps and continue to progress. Similar to what the Patriots ended up doing with Drake May when they inserted him midway through the season. He's ready. He's ready to take those lumps and grow. Go ahead and you do that. I think you have to remember JJ McCarthy when he came into the league, he was the youngest player. I think he was
2021.
20, right?
He's turning 21.
2021. So he's going into this season at 21, right? Something like that. So he's still very young. He still has time for him to continue to grow and mature and get acclimated to the position and to the league. So I think it's really a no-lose situation for the Vikings unless JJ McCarthy completely bombs. If they keep Sam Darnold, they can still try to put pieces around him to get further into the playoffs and maybe make a Super Bowl run, right? Brad Johnson won a Super Bowl, guys, right? So it's a possibility. Rich Gannon made it to a Super Bowl, guys, right? It happens, right? So I think if they put the team together the right way, they can still make a run with Sam Darnold if they don't put all of the onus on him to carry the team. However, if they think that JJ McCarthy is ready, Sam Darnold, you gotta let him walk. You gotta let him walk.
Hey, real quick, Doc. Who was your quarterback before Sam Donald? I'm just asking a question.
Why are you doing this?
The Pastronaut. No. So it was Kirk Cousins. It was
Correct.
Cousins.
Kirk Cousins.
Yep.
Right? Cut Sam Donald, man. Y'all had too much pain with Kirk Cousins. It was the same thing.
The same type. He's the
It's
same
the,
mold.
it's the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
So
Actually, no. Sam Darnold played at a higher level than Kirk Cousins. It's just when it came to pressure situation,
Pressure.
he dropped down
Yeah.
for Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Right.
Pressure. Yeah.
So Kirk must consistently be come heck or high water, right?
You know
So
what? I think in a future one of our future part we need to grade these quarterbacks and break them down, right?
Mm,
Because what I'm
mm.
hearing is Kirk Cousins equals Sam Darnold equals Jared Goff, right? Which probably equals Garoppolo, right? Like all
Man,
of these quarterbacks, they're the same, right? They are good enough to get you
yeah,
to the playoffs,
yeah.
but when the rubber hit the road, when that pressure situation takes
Pressure, man,
place,
pressure. Yeah, pressure,
that's
pressure.
it.
Yeah.
That's it. So
I will also, and this might be a slight on Eagles fan. This might be a little slight. I would put Donovan McNabb at like the top of that list. I would put him there because he was a great. Donovan McNabb was a great regular season quarterback, man. You put T.O. in there. You go to the Super Bowl, but in the Super Bowl, this dude couldn't handle the pressure throwing up on the field, just can't handle it. It was just too much,
let me tell you,
overwhelmed, and that was it.
it's interesting that you bring that up because
Mm.
as you was talking about him, I was thinking about that exact same thing about him
Yeah,
throwing when
throwing up on the field. Yeah,
situation gets intense.
yes,
He was doing that from Syracuse.
yep.
that's what I'm saying.
I remember watching him. He was in a bowl game, and the camera panned to him. He's in the trash bin, and they're like, "Is he throwing up?"
That's what
He
I'm
was
saying.
throwing up as the situation was developing, and that carried over into the pro. Like when you have some guys that I don't know if it's the DNA, the biology, but when that pressure
Yeah,
hits them,
yeah.
they can't perform.
They fold up, can't
They
do it.
pull up. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
yeah, yeah.
So
So yeah, I
Can't
think you're right. Yeah,
and you can't build your team dependent on that person coming through in the clutch, right?
right.
It's different if you're
Yeah.
defense first, special teams, no turnovers, field position. We got a reliable kicker. We just need you to not mess up. But when it's hey, we down by 5, 2 minutes left to go, one timeout. Yeah, it's a whole other situation.
and the thing is with the Vikings, they have a defensive mastermind, but I don't think you have the personnel to like really dominate the way that the Ravens or the 85 Bears or one
Yeah,
of those teams did in the past,
yeah,
so that you can take an average quarterback to the Super Bowl and potentially win it.
I agree. The defense is very scheme related, and we
It
have
is
players.
dependent. Yeah.
But it is not physical talent dependent. The strong running games or the savvy veteran quarterback who's seen it all, they don't work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's good stuff. Good
Yeah.
stuff, guy.
Yeah. 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 All right, guys. I mean, that was a great discussion. I mean, breaking down all the NFC North and the teams and everything and the Super Bowl predictions. Again, this is going to be an exciting Super Bowl. It's going to go down to the wire. The Eagles are going to prevail in this. I can't say that enough. My bias, but at the same time, on a serious note, I don't see Kansas City winning this game. I really just think that this is the Eagles' year. We take it. So, hey, this was great, man. Guys, I appreciate your Doc. Thank you, man. Your perspective
Thanks
always
for
welcome.
me.
Yeah,
Thanks for
man.
me. Great being on here.
Phenomenal. This was great. All right. Take
All
care.
right. Enjoy the Super Bowl.
Yes, sir.